All right, time coming up to exactly 9:30, and we have our guest here. And I was just telling him, like, hey, you didn't get lost. You followed them. I was really hesitant. I was like, why isn't this guy calling me up until now? But he's here with us right now. We're talking movies this whole morning, and his name is Reggie Haynes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for having me here. It's a tremendous honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Elliot, and thank you, Queen Lucie. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah,
Thank
welcome
you.
for the set. We truly appreciate.
Of course.
Oh,
of course. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, before we get into the movie side of you, the talented side of you, tell us about yourself, Reggie. You're an African American.
Well, I claim African, or I claim as being part of the original people, because I always tell people, you got to remember the American ties. I always appreciate my family that raised me in Texas, but you have to remember when people claim certain things, you have to realize the background of it. So I know that there is a tie to the American culture to where there's people that want us to be slaves, and I refuse to connect myself with that. I would rather be called a king, not in an egotistical sense, but in a sense to where I know I appreciate my fellow kings like Elliot. I appreciate my fellow queens like Queen Lucie. So when it comes down to it, I go by just being the original people, or African, or just melanated.
Okay.
So you were born and bred in the States?
I was born and raised in Texas, Houston, Texas, by my phenomenal family. The leader of that family was my mom. And then, of course, I have my biological father, just great people who raised me to always be true and be respectful. So that's where I was raised. Yes, Houston, Texas.
All right.
You seem to have a very different perspective than a lot of other American people that we've seen and heard from. I know, hey, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
That's
for
fine
just
with
a
me.
bit.
That ain't no problem with me.
You seem to have been more aware of yourself, being melanated, being a king.
Yeah.
At what age did you actually get to realize that and have this different mindset?
It was probably, I would say, my mid-20s, but I still have a long ways to go. I still have a lot of learning to do, even though I'm 31. I still have, a long way to go to learn more about myself and learn more about our people, and do it in a respectful sense so there's no division, because we know the old saying goes, the more divided we are, the easily conquered we are as people, and I have refused to allow that to happen to me or my people.
So when did you relocate from the States back to this side?
It's actually been a year and coming up on a month. I came to Zimbabwe, and then that's where I met my African parents, Queen Wadzanai, and also King Blaze, and my brother Simba. And also they, we were going through a lot of stuff, the visa process and all of that. So they sent me to my Chilamoni family, or my family who stays in Malawi, in Chilamoni area. And that's the Chingulu family. They took me in, and things have been progressing from there. So it's been over a year now, and I love every moment of it. It's been a positive, consistent, progressive thing, and I'm loving every moment of it.
Oh, yeah?
All right, so what would you say was that moment for you that clicked to say, you know what, I need to go to Africa?
I was 14 years old, and I was with my cousin, and I saw a commercial indicating that Africa was poor and Africa was just this negative place. And me, at a young age, I saw past that. I said, if there are people who's trying to basically label the motherland as being a place where you don't go, they're hiding something great. They're hiding something phenomenal. So at 14 years old, I realized that I want to see the truth of Africa. So I started studying, and I told myself I'm going to live there one day, and here I am.
All right.
Yep.
All right, so what did your family actually say now? You had this mindset growing up, hey, I'm moving to Africa.
Well, I remember when I was growing up, it was football. I was an American football player. And then I stopped playing football after, I got the NFL contract and all that. I never liked football. So it was always football for them. I was always a football player. When people started finding out that I did music and wanted to go to Africa and all that, that was in secret. So people found out when I just did it, and they were shocked, of course. But now that people are hearing me on phenomenal shows like Capital FM and, just, doing things live, they're like, oh, snap, we never knew. Sometimes it's good to listen to the youths when they're trying to, when they're doing something, or just listen to them in general, because you just never know what their goals are, and support them. And don't try to fearmonger them and make them like, oh, I heard about this. One of the other reasons why I came to Africa was because I video chat. When video chat was around, I started video chatting with people from Africa, and I started seeing the truth of how beautiful and phenomenal this place was. And I was like, this is definitely going to be my home, and I'm glad that I'm here now. So yeah, I hope that answers your
Okay,
question.
perspective now. You're here in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You're living in Africa. What have people back home actually said so far, having seen this different part of Africa that you're giving
You're gonna
through
have
your lenses?
Yeah, you're gonna have great question, Queen. You're gonna have supporters everywhere you go, and you're gonna have naysayers everywhere you go. I focus on the supporters. I focus on the people that are definitely there for me, who want to support me and support the vision. And the beautiful thing about the supporters is I get phone calls almost every other day. Reggie, how do I get there? How do I go there? And I tell people all the time, if you're going to decide to come to Malawi, if you're going to come to Africa, make sure that you have a major plan, but make sure that you don't bring any of the westernized slave-mindedness in negative ways over here, because these are loving people, and these are people who deserve the utmost respect, just like we do. And that goes hand in hand. So that's, what I've been experiencing from the people who are supporters, which are the main ones I focus on.
All right, so 1 year and some months on the continent.
A month, yeah.
And a month.
Mm-hmm.
1 year and a month on the continent. The ultimate plan and goal is to settle here and have a citizenship.
Well, the thing is remember, in rest in power to King Chilima, I think it was back in February 9th. Him and the other representatives lifted the visa restrictions for the U.S. citizens. So I remember when it happened, I wanted to thank that man personally, but he was busy and everything. But for him to do that, it's like I actually can stay as long as I want. I just have to pay the fees and everything. So I'm basically, this is why I say this is my home. I'm working here and I'm doing things here. But man, for that man to do what he did, and for the government officials, I'm very thankful. And I don't even do politics, but I'm very thankful for people who have definitely lifted those restrictions to make it to where, dude, like you're home. Let's make you as comfortable as possible, and that's what they've done for me. So the visa restrictions are lifted, but my main goal here is to help myself and my people to progress in every way. I'm a boring person, so an average day for me, if I'm not working, I'll go out, I'll look at the beautiful scenery of Malawi, the mountains, the children in the area are always pulling me all the time, so I can't get away from them. But when I do, I'm embracing nature, and I'm embracing grounding myself in the motherland soil, and connecting with my ancestors. So that's basically my goal, to keep on doing that, and in media help out any way that I can. But I don't come with this godlike approach like I know everything. I'm always open to learn new things from all of my people, because I know we help each other and we stay unified and we progress from there.
And you are learning the vernacular as well.
Yes, Ziko Mokwambili, Moribwanche, Mazuka Bwanche, Digafuna money, Digafuna food. Just different things like that. I remember I had a full conversation with somebody and I was just shocked afterwards. I was like, how did I do that? But I think it's the more familiar I get, the more better I'll get. But I have a long way to go to learn Chichewa. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're all here to lend a hand.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
He's home.
Thank y'all.
Home.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, so there's this perspective that people say, when they're coming from the West, coming into Africa, it's more like tourism for them, like tourism.
Yep.
And I've seen that you're pretty much documenting your journey living in Africa, and you've lived in places where not a lot of people want to talk about much. Locations that a lot of people normally wouldn't go to. Normally when they come to Africa or Malawi, they say, oh, take us to Lake Malawi, or take us to any nice scenery, but you're giving a whole different journey. I just want to know, how's that experience been for you, and how is the documentation process actually giving this perspective to outside people now? It's
refreshing, Queen Lucy, because the thing is everywhere I step, I'm at peace, I'm happy. If there's ever a situation where it's a negative one, I always try to reflect and say, hold up, before I do something crazy, which I've made mistakes, and before I make this mistake, I need to think before I act on it. But I'm gonna say like 99.9% of the time since I've been in Malawi, it's been phenomenal. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about the great people, and I'm one of those people to where it's like, look, if I feel comfortable, if I'm happy here, why would I leave? Why? The nicest people, the warm heart of Africa. I could care less about what the tourists or other people say. I don't even listen to them anyway, because I know that they're basing that perspective off of what someone else told them, based off of commercial, based off of someone who paid money, and we all know how that works. I'm one of those people that when I'm comfortable, when my ancestors are showing me this is the place for you, I stay there. And if I do decide to go somewhere else, I always make sure I know where my home is. And right now my home is in Malawi. You know, so I love the sights. I love everything. And when it comes down to the tourists and all that stuff, I don't pay attention. I'm not a person to where I follow, you know, the rest. I only go on my own path, you know. So that's basically how I've had my experience of living here and just being here. I don't condone people coming to Africa to tour, because I know that that's one of the things to where I've talked to a lot of people from Africa and they've been hurt by that. They're like, oh, you're just going to end up leaving like everyone else. So when people saw that, you still here? I'm like, yeah, I told you I'm not going anywhere. It was hard for them to believe it, but now they're like, wow, he really isn't leaving. I feel like we need to have more of that mindset, but while doing so, make sure that you have a lot of plans, because you don't want to end up in a situation like I've been in to where you're struggling economically. So I would always tell people to have A through Z 1, an A through Z 2, and an A through Z 3 plan before you go anywhere outside of where you are familiar with.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's clear. It's a lesson on its own.
Yeah. All right. So you fast forward, you're in Malawi now. Take us through the first bits of you being in Malawi. What was your experience like settling into a new country, new culture, new people? You're coming in from Zimbabwe and you're in Malawi now.
When I first got to Malawi, the nicest people I've ever met. It reminded me of back home in Houston, Texas, where everybody shows Southern hospitality. So when I got here, it was a breath of fresh air. I know when I first stepped foot on African soil when I was back in Zimbabwe, I could breathe for the first time in my life. But then when I came to Malawi, I could breathe even more. So my experience has been great. I've met nothing but phenomenal people. I was telling you guys about the Chingwalu family. And then, of course, from there, they introduced me to another king, King Philo, who runs TMM or Tchetsa Media. And I met him and I met Kabul. And these are like the nicest people who basically saved my life. So, I mean, when you have people like that who they don't care where you came from, they just love you because they know that you're family. Even though you were born in a different part of the world, you're still melanated, you're still African. So we're going to treat you as such. And I've been so grateful and honored for that opportunity. And I'm just I'm embracing it all. And I try not to cry when I talk about it or think about it. But it's a beautiful thing, because I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's like a beautiful thing, because it's like, wow, like, you know, I'm not an egotistical person at all. So I'm always I'm always having that reflective mindset of why me? Why am I getting so much love? But it's because people are showing you that they love you, because you know that you love your African people. And that's what I'm happy that I have the opportunity to be a part of this. So.
All right. So you gave a hint about music. You do music.
You know what? Yeah. But, you know, sometimes people be like, man, I do music. We African. So, of course, we all know how to, you know, do music, and we're talented in some way. Yeah. With my music or movies or whatever I'm doing, I always want people to focus on the message and not the messenger. So, yeah, Reggie has done things, but I give all the credit to my ancestors, the elders who raised me in Houston, Texas, the people who have helped me along the way in Africa, and also all that is good in the universe, and my ancestors who came before all of us within the African community. I give all the credit to them, because without them there is no me. So yes, I do these things, but I have to give credit where credit is due.
Multi-genre or one specific genre you do?
Music, it can be along the lines of R&B, hip hop, but I would say they were like, Reggie, you're a conscious rapper, and I was like, oh, okay, so I guess that's the category, conscious. But with it, I know that there's times to where, you know, the anger kicks in, the youthfulness kicks in, and then you curse a little bit. That's something to where I'm not fond of, because I feel like cursing is definitely putting a negative vibe out there. You know, words cast spells. So you want to make sure that you are not feeding into that logic of you being a negative person or a negative symbol that's spreading a negative vibe to people who need to progress on all accounts. So with my music, I would say conscious, but I try to improve on it as best as I can.
All right.
All right, so you left the U.S. and you're in Africa.
Yes, ma'am.
You must have had a plan. Or did you have a plan?
I had a plan, but it failed so many times.
What plan was this initially?
The plan was for me to get a visa and for me to stay out here, but I knew how hard it was in Zimbabwe. And then that's when my African parents, the Queen White's and King Blaze, they sat me down and they said, this is what we're going to do. And then, ironically enough, while I was out here visiting in Malawi, the visa restrictions were lifted. So it helped out the plan even more. A lot of people they were telling me, you need to go back home to America. You need to go back. Things aren't working out. It just showed me how many doubters there were, and I shut them out. So part of my plan was making sure I stayed focused on the people who were wanting to help me progress, not the ones that wanted me to go back to a place where I told myself I'm never going back to, because mentally I'm not dealing with that again. So I started figuring out, because everywhere I go in Africa, there's entrepreneurs everywhere, which is why I'm so proud of our African people. They do for themselves, and they try their best not to depend on others to do for them. So I started picking that up. I was like, let me do classes, let me do film classes, let me do things to where I know economically I'll be okay. Along the way, like I said, I had King Philo and Kabul who were like, no, we want to give you this job and to Chetsa Media to do these things that you love to do, and we're going to help. So the plan failed, but I picked myself up, and I had other people that helped me up, and it's been progressing ever since. For those people that's listening, never, like I said, don't leave to go anywhere else outside of where you are unless you have, like I said, so many plans in store. Because I will be honest with you, I was very fortunate, because I could have been anywhere. I could have possibly been dead, but I've had people along the way who's helped me. It's good to have faith and all that. I respect that. But at the same time, you need to have a plan to where it's legit. And when I'm talking about a plan, I'm talking about economically. I'm talking about financially. You need to have a plan just to make sure that you don't struggle like I did.
All right, we're still here with Reggie Haynes, and he's going to be here a while because we still got more questions.
Oh, my goodness. I look forward to all of them.
All right, keep it capital. If you know you have any questions for him, hit us up as well on the text line 0999-952-102. It's on WhatsApp. You can send a voice note, question, SMS, whichever. 0884-111-025 as well is the number. And we'll see you on the flip side after we do pay the bills. Do remember that the news is coming your way next at 10.
CFM, Capital FM.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Yeah, I'ma let the truth be told. Reggie never have to ask me anymore. Yeah. I'ma let that truth be told, so you never have to ask me anymore. Yeah, yeah. And I'ma let the truth be told, so you never have to ask me anymore. Yeah. And I'ma let the truth be told, so you never have to ask me anymore. Yeah. Look, don't ask me what's a real man or a human. You think it's you, then you dreaming. You sleepwalking in the system that got you slaving to the day that you dying. And martial law got you crying, afraid of dying, asking God, why is this happening? He ain't real like the laws made. Bodies inhumane, leaders whose jobs to keep you a slave. You wanna be up in the spotlight so you can infiltrate the system your master made that you'll never break. That's why I don't like celebrities. They job to make you feel low so they can feel high off your energy. Your energy's precious, shall never be taken. So don't let these inhumane illusions lead you to confusion. Kings and queens, take your stuff back. They fear if you get it back, then the world will be back on track. No more skimping and lusting just to get attention. You ain't winning with entertainment, you steady losing. And you steady killing your people and your own soul. Wonder why I ain't around slaves, now you know. I don't care about your talents, just about the message. I'm through with slaves trying to build up their master system. I'm done with trying to convince the slaves that they ain't free. I'ma be the best symbolic being that I can be. Protect myself in every way, shape, form, or fashion. So when evil approaches, they quick to change directions. Fulfill the love of my life and show my seeds what's right. And when I'm wrong, on up, write it and move along. That's the human way to live, just thought you know. I got nothing left to say, I hope y'all took some notes. That's the human way to live, just thought you know. I got nothing left to say, I hope y'all took some notes. Yeah, I'ma let the truth be told, so you never have to ask me anymore. Yeah, yeah. Cause I'ma let that truth be told, so you never have to ask me anymore. Yeah. And I'ma let the truth be told, so you never have to ask me anymore. Yeah, yeah. And I'ma let the truth be told, so
14 minutes past 10 is the time. You just heard their music coming in from Reggie Haynes. That's our guest today. It's called Truth Be Told. And yeah, we're still here talking about, like we said, we've got a lot to talk about, Reggie.
Yeah.
All right,
and
so...
And tell you what, hey, in terms of music, you're bound to get more collabos.
Oh,
like,
okay.
More of those phone calls on a daily basis.
Well,
looking
you know,
for collabos.
That's fine, Elliot, but just as long as we focus on the message and not the messenger, I'm fine. Like I said, I'll collaborate with anyone who's interested in making sure that it's conscious music that we're doing. When I have children, I want them to look back at their father and say he was an artist who didn't exploit women, negatively. He was all about trying to make sure that the message was received and that it's a lifelong message and it's positive for our African people globally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of people talk about the American dream.
Uh-huh.
And you just shrugged, guys.
I did shrug my shoulders.
They're always talking about the American dream. A lot of people are trying to go to the U.S. I've seen a lot of Malawians migrating to the U.S., especially in the area that you're mentioning, Texas,
Yep.
that you grew up in. What do you think about this American dream? It seems like you're pretty much running from the American dream.
So me, I wouldn't say I'm running, but I would say that I found my peace and I found my sanity. And I feel like that's probably what other people are searching for themselves. Me, if I'm speaking on a global scale, I would say that things have been structured for us as the original people to step away from our African roots, step away from the motherland, step away from our truth, so that way we can end up living a lie. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth that I've seen. So for me, for those people that want to go to America, leave Africa, hey, by all means, if that's what you feel like is best. It's just not best for what's best for me or what I feel like is best for me. When I was in America, I saw the American dream as a nightmare. And I always tell people this, even my spiritual advisor and I disagree to this day, because I don't argue, so I'll let him have it. And shout out to King Mindstra. But what I will say is when it comes down to dreaming, you have to be asleep in order to dream. So I'm always awake. So I'm living life. I don't dream, you know. So when it comes in regards to America, let's be honest. A lot of people know that the currency value is higher in different places, the UK, America, etc. But my thing is to where I can't allow that or anything else to pull me into that realm to where I know that you got African people who come there and they're still listed in the Constitution as 3/5 human, which means you're less than human. Hence the N word, which means less than human, which is why I try my best not to use that word. So at the end of the day, I know that there's a lot of people that believe in that logic that there's an American dream. I am happy in the motherland where I feel like I belong.
Okay. Your perspective, is it inspired by your spiritual faith or just that philosophy which you have as a human being?
I would say that it's a bit of both, because with me, I believe in all that is good in the universe. Anything that is centered around divisiveness amongst African people, I can't feed into that, because I know that that is a ploy to keep us divided, meaning that we're going to be easily conquered by inhumanity, negativity, and things that are not for us. So I just feel like it's a universal perspective to where I try my best not to feed into negative things that are going to keep me divided amongst my lovely and phenomenal African people.
All right.
All right, Elliot and I were just talking before you actually came on the show that about the Malawian film and entertainment industry,
Which
much.
is, yeah.
And we were just saying how we're just seeing it booming now and, you know, getting more advanced.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons we were talking about is because we're comparing it as well to the West. You know how a lot of it's pretty much easy, I could say, to a certain extent, to be out there.
Sorry about that.
I'm
trying to get comfortable, y'all.
Yeah. Be comfortable. It seems a bit easier to be out there, and like I said, I'm going to keep on bringing up this American dream because it's something that I've heard about, so I'm going to keep on bringing it up. And it's easy to make it in America. You can be a musician, you can be a dancer, you can be an artist.
That's what they said?
That's
what they said?
Okay. That's what they say?
That's what they say? Okay, I'm listening.
That's pretty much it. And when you look at it here, yes, we're growing, but at a slower pace. Why do you think you're in Africa? You're in Malawi right now.
Yeah.
You're coming into a place where things are only starting to grow. How is it for you, and why?
My thing is, because I have this conversation all the time, your pace is the best pace for you. So I would never, you have to look at it from this perspective, Queen, and I could try to simplify it like this. We have to realize that we are the original people, the motherland, no matter what part of the motherland we're in. This is where life starts, and this is what helps the rest of the world function. So the minerals that you see, the cobalt, all of these different things that you see, these are things that help function these devices that are making these spectacular movies, that are making these spectacular and phenomenal social media platforms. So if we lose sight of that, then we're losing sight that we don't need to look outside of ourselves to find out that we are the truth and that we are the originals. So when I see people in Africa doing the best that they can to create what they love, I am always supportive of that. If someone comes to me and say, Reggie, what do you think about this? I'm going to say, do you love it? Are you happy? Did you give it 100%? I love it too. But if they ever want some type of expertise...
But wouldn't you say that you're giving them a kind of like a false opinion in that sense as well? Like, if you're asking them, do you love it? Do you think you put in 100%? Then I love it too.
My thing is to where I don't want to change something, because we see it to this day. Just because Americans or people in America, or in the West and in Hollywood or Hollywood, whatever they call it nowadays, I don't support it. Whatever they're calling it, they add lighting, they add different effects to try to captivate the audience, and they do a good job of that. But my thing is to where I'm not falling for it. My thing is to where just because there's a person over, because we see it all the time that there's people who get a lot of publicity in their movies compared to a westernized movie isn't that good quality wise, but it still has the attention of the audience of their local environment. So if that's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. But if you bring me onto a project and you're asking me to bring on my style and we can coexist with each other, let's do that. But I can't knock someone who's giving it their all, knowing that this is something that they love. I can't do that. I haven't, even my quality, I have rooms for improvement when it comes in regards to me trying to progress. And I'm looking for people to help me respectfully. And I'm going to do the same if someone asks. I think it would be unfair if I were to, be called upon by someone who's in the media field and they're creative, and then I just basically say, no, this is bad. I need to point out why do I think it's bad. But in that retrospect, Queen Lucie, I'm comparing it to something that is different from their original, form or format. So that's why I say it's not a false narrative. It's not false, hope or anything. It's just me telling them, look, if you love it, I love it too, because I know that this is something that you have created to the fullest, given 100%.
So it kind of sounds like,
I'm listening.
From my perspective, okay, it kind of sounds like you try to avoid situations where there's criticism.
I avoid situations to where there's divisiveness, because my thing is this. When it comes to constructive criticism, I feel like there's a way of criticizing someone without being disrespectful. I feel like there's a way of criticizing someone by uplifting them and making sure that when they leave that conversation, they don't feel had or disrespected at all. They feel like, wow, this is something that I'm going to progress moving forward from here, if that makes sense.
So you're not about the negative energy.
What's the point? I mean, I know people say yin and yang, and that's fine, but my thing is where since I've been in Africa, especially in Malawi, there's been progressiveness all the way. I've met people who are full on positive. So when people say, no, Reggie, no, the world isn't positive, your world isn't. But there are tons of people who think otherwise, and those are the ones that I want to involve in my life.
Oh yeah. Now you say you took acting lessons when you came to Malawi.
Oh no! I teach.
You teach.
I teach.
Okay.
But my everything that you see, music, acting, etc., that was self-taught. I taught myself. I didn't. No, because I couldn't afford it. Reggie broke, y'all. Reggie cheap. So don't be asking me for money. Reggie can't afford acting classes and all that stuff. So I learned how to do it from people who were just willing to help me. Reggie Yancey, Sky Godfrey.
That was back in
the States.
Okay.
And when it came in regards to when I was young, I think I was like 8 or 9 years old. I grew up watching melanated, or as they say in the West, black actors like Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy, Eddie Griffin, Moesha Brandy. Different people like that, watching them on a TV network called UPN 20. Jamie Foxx, he's from Texas. So I watched them growing up, and my mom pointed at that screen and said, if they can do it, so can you. And I believed in that. So when nobody was looking, I was imitating them. I was teaching myself how to act. I was learning how to write from my mother, because she's a great writer. So I'm just self-teaching myself all of these things when I was outside of school and outside of playing football and with my friends and stuff. So
no, great. All right.
So we're about to step into the entertainment part of Reggie in a minute, but let's just go pay some bills, and we'll be back, and we'll talk about all of that and how and what exactly he's planning on the local scene.
Rise and shine with Capital Morning Drive. With music that makes you feel good. Capital Morning Drive.
26 minutes past 10 is the time. We have our guest here, Reggie Haynes, with us, and he's going to be here a while. I can't say up to when exactly, because we're curious.
Oh yeah, this one is an exclusive interview.
Oh my goodness. Thank y'all for the opportunity. I'm very happy to be here.
All right, so let's talk about the entertainment side of you. How did you actually figure that you want to do entertainment when you got to Africa? What was the point when you said, you know what, I think I can actually try this here?
Well, the thing is to where I always had a plan, and much love and respect to all the people who supported me along the way. Sister Yeshiva, Queen Angela, my cousins, Queen Saudel, so many great people. I would say that was always my goal. I have a TV show called The House of Reggie's TV show where I play multiple characters. And my goal was to bring that show here. I didn't know how it was going to be received, but so far people have respected it. And now that I'm here, I've always said, like, you get people knocking on your door, hey, Reggie, let's do this. And I'm like, let's do it. But we have to, just like with music, speaking, whatever, you have to make sure that this is going to last a lifetime and that the message is strong and it's centered around unity and empowerment with our African people and truth for our African people. So that was my goal coming into Africa, and I feel like it's going well so far.
Mm-hmm. So you're working on the legacy series with that's Alex Gogoda.
He calls himself CMP. Yeah, Alex CMP. But yeah, Alex is phenomenal. I was introduced to him by a friend, Arthur, and also Queen Victoria. I worked with her on the Uncle Reggie TV show. So with them, I'm going to be on.
You mentioned 3. House of Reggie.
Yeah, that's the
Reggie.
Uncle Reggie TV show, and then Legacy the series.
Okay, so you're going to take us bit by bit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You guys want me to break it down now?
You started with House of Reggie.
The House of Reggie's TV show was a show that I created back in like 2019. And I was inspired by my ex from the UK, and I centered a TV network around it, RHTV Network. And on this show, simply put, you have sci-fi, you have comedy, you have unity amongst these brothers who they're always tackling different issues, but when they come together for the film that concludes the end of every season. So I'm wanting to do a season 5 in Africa. If anybody's interested, you guys can hit me up. I'm pretty sure we'll put my information out there. But that show led me to want to do the Uncle Reggie TV show, which I've been wanting to do for years. It's a show to where I play an uncle who basically takes in his sisters, 4 children, and it touches on youths and elders in the African community going through mental health, which we really need to continue to progress with in regards to helping ourselves, because I see it across the board. We overlook our mental health, and that is not good at all. So this is a show that tackles that. We tackle unity, we tackle family, we tackle peer pressure, bullying, all of these different things in this show. And the other show, Legacy the series, is a superhero series that is centered around making sure that people know that the cinematic or the Marvel Cinematic Universe started here in Africa. Those ideas were stolen. And now we're bringing the originality back to Africa, because that's where it belongs when it comes in regards to superheroes and African warriors and the queens of Africa and things like that. So Legacy.
Is it wrong to say because the continent is well associated with magic? It's wrong to say.
Well, it's somebody messaged me about that. It's like, is this magic? I said, well, you got to remember, magic is a source of something that's been passed on to us that's looked at as good or bad. So with us as African people, with the toxins that's been placed upon us, not just in the motherland, but globally, we are blinded from seeing the truth of ourselves. So we are all capable of displaying our true nature. People call it magic in order to make us think that this is not the norm. We are normally superheroes and superhumans, but at the same time, I feel like we are pushed back from seeing that because of so much divisiveness out there. Hopefully this show can create a universe to where we can do that. And on a side note, if it wasn't for Alex Gogoda, I would have definitely, because I was at peace with not doing films anymore. But Alex was like, Reggie, come on, man, let's do it. Not just for you and me, but for we. And I said, let's do it. So I'm continuing to do this until the wheels fall off. And it's been a great journey so far.
And this one is the one that's shot in Malawi. That's being shot in Malawi.
Yeah, you know what?
It's a Malawian project.
Yeah, we shot this one not too far away from where I stay in Chileka. And we shot this in a matter of 8 hours. We shot this episode in 8 hours, and it was so much fun. Alex was great. The other cast members, Vinny and Fatch and all these other guys were great. And King Sensei Jerry, he's the lead villain, and he did such a great job. We did the voiceovers and everything in one day, and I was very proud of everyone because they definitely kept me uplifted throughout the day. Because for those that don't know, directing and acting and all these things can be stressful, but they made sure that never happened, and it was a great day, and I'm glad we accomplished a massive goal that day. I'm really, really proud of those guys.
All right, let's talk about the recruiting of people to come through and work on these projects with you, especially you were talking about just now how you've been shooting in Chileka.
Yeah.
And how did you have ads put out there like, hey guys, I'm shooting something, you want to be a part of it? Or how did that work?
It was all Alex and it was all Sensei, Jerry, because with them, I'm a person to where I don't go around. People find out like, oh, Reggie, you do this. Why you didn't tell me? I don't go around telling people like, hey, man, come and do this movie unless I'm with Alex or those guys. So Alex and Sensei did the recruiting process and it worked out well. They started telling locals. You know, sometimes people don't see or believe it until they see it. So when people started seeing us film, other people started surrounding us in the area and was like, dude, how can we be a part of this? And we just said, hey, this is what you have to do. And it worked out very well. So that's how the recruiting process usually works with me. Even in Chilamoni, there's been things that we've done. I had some former students and we used to work out there. We would start filming and doing our work and so many people would crowd around us. I know that there's a lot of people within Malawi who are very interested in media, but they have to see it first in order for them to engage. So that's how we usually do the recruiting process for extras or just people who want to be a part of what we got going on.
All right. So now with the team, well, with Alex, Sensei, how are you planning to take Legacy the series forward? Like now giving us a 9-month or a year focused from now?
You guys are great at these questions. Y'all phenomenal. Y'all a great tag team. Elliot and Queen Lucie, y'all. That was a phenomenal question.
Appreciate for that.
No, it's just the truth. No need to thank me. You guys are great. When it comes down to us, we're trying to work out a premiere on July the 6th or the 13th. It will be either in Chileka or in the Kameza area. So I know for those people that want information on tickets and other things, we'll definitely send it out to you guys on our social media platforms. So that way people can be aware of when you can see the first episode live. We are going to try to do a double feature. We're just trying to finish up the filming of the Uncle Reggie TV show. But if we can't do that, then it'll be a encore to where we show the Legacy, the series episode twice. This is a short episode, about 15 minutes long, including commercial breaks. But hopefully you guys think it's worth it enough to come out and, you know, see it in the Chileka or the Kameza area. So that's what we're working on.
So this is the sci-fi.
Yes, ma'am.
Legacy.
Yes, ma'am. Legacy, the series. That's a sci-fi series. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what should people be expecting to see when they actually come through?
Phenomenal question, Queen. So when it comes down to Legacy, this series is based on a character that I play to where he's a superhuman, but he's lost memory of that. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know how he's got here. He doesn't know who he is. So he has this device that he's created to remind him of that called Advisor. So throughout the series, you see action. You see shooting. The guns are fake, guys. We don't bring real guns. No, we don't do that. We don't condone that whatsoever. Yeah. And you find out from the jump that this guy is very powerful. And there's this villain called Time Warp who is the king of time. And he possesses a particular emblem or artifact that controls time. And he's trying to work on going back in time to destroy Legacy so we never get to this point. So this series basically tackles on how a superhuman tries to remember how phenomenal he is in order for him to defeat an entity who is using manipulative tactics to control the minds of Malawians. So this is similar to what we talked about earlier. You know, we as African people need to remember how phenomenal we are so that way we don't ever allow ourselves to be controlled by evil.
So is this you just pretty much spreading your message in an entertaining form?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All right.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Just as simple as that.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
simple as that.
Yes, ma'am.
Just exactly that. All right.
All right, so take us through how you're trying to tackle, you mentioned that you're trying to tackle being an entertainer, balancing your life as an entertainer and a father for the first time.
In the Uncle Reggie TV show.
In the Uncle Reggie TV show.
Yes, ma'am. So
Okay, cool.
in this particular TV show, this series was directed by Victoria, and phenomenal director. This is the first time I actually worked with a female director, and she is great. And in this particular show, what we tackle on is this is an entertainer who was born in Malawi, but he made America his home, became a select, come back home with the oldest nephew of 4 children to find out that his sister has passed away. Now he has to take on this role of balancing his life as an entertainer and balancing being a father for the first time. You know, this is a guy who's young and he's a bachelor and he's an entertainer. Now he's not only taking on 1 child, but 4. So now he has to realize, and he's coping with the loss of a close relative, so this tackles on all of those different things. And as he's stepping into this father figure role, he's basically letting it be known that this is what we cannot stand in schools. I'm not going to allow you to say that you're doing the best you can as a teacher, and I'm trusting my children with you, and you're allowing bullying. You're saying, oh, we can't see everything. Well, if that's the case, I need to take my child out this school. We have children, and we have one of the youths who are dealing with peer pressure or dealing with, not stepping out of their shell. Like, no, it's okay to embrace how phenomenal of a person you are. Just don't get, egotistical with it. And then we talk about, drugs a little bit, and we talk about how people in the African community, we turn to different types of drugs to cope with the pain. Putting toxins in yourself. And I'm pretty sure we're going to play the song earlier. Feeling toxins in your brain will make you go insane. But if you abolish those things within you, you'll be better off. So that's why I feel like us as African people, not just in the show, but in reality, we need to realize, like, look, there are ways for us to talk and listen to each other. So that way we can actually help ourselves heal or help each other heal. So that way we're not turning to toxins to be our only healing method. When you put toxins into your body, hey, do what you do, but just realize that problem isn't going to go anywhere. It's not. We need to talk about these things. We need to nip these things in the bud and abolish these problems rather than continuing to allow them to flourish and to be here. The problems don't go anywhere when we do that. So this show tackles on that, and I try my best to tackle on that in every form and everything that I'm a part of.
Conscious.
If that's the symbolism that y'all look at, let's focus on the message and not the message, not the messenger. I don't care if it's Reggie that's delivering it. I'm just glad that it's out there, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you made any plans, like you and the team, maybe of taking these series, your projects, on TV, say on cable TV in Malawi?
Well, Lucy knows this.
I was like, he done stepped up the tail of a tiger.
No. Let me be respectful. Because there was a situation where there's a documentary that I'm doing, and in the documentary I did something that should have never happened. I put it public that somebody disrespected me in the TV industry, and I'm a person, I take accountability. You're not supposed to do that. That's wrong, 100%. Do things behind closed doors so you're not creating more divisiveness at all. When it comes in regards to the TV industries in Malawi, I was told that my content isn't what they're looking for right now, and I respect that. Any content, or any platforms that would like my content on there, I'll be open to, deliver it to them, and we'll go on from there. It's about, just respecting those people who have their rules, and if they want to collaborate and they want to put my content out there, I'm all for it. So if they don't, I respect it, and I have to just move on and not worry about why they didn't put it on, because I know that even if there's people that don't like what I'm doing, at least I know that I can look back on it and say I'm proud of myself and the team for what we did. So, yeah.
All right, so we're in the month of June, and I think you've touched on a very interesting topic as well. You mentioned mental health, and it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Okay.
And just to have your views, what's been your perspective so far on the cultural level, if you've interacted with any young men in society in Malawi, and has that topic ever come up, or have there been signs that people are aware rather of issues like that?
Yes, ma'am. So I've met a lot of teenagers who are youthful, and I know you and myself, King Elliot, we've been there.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feed into problems and we don't know that we are as men, and then we end up having people that want to help us, but we look at that as them trying to control us, because we lose trust. We go through breakups, we go through family issues. There's so much divisiveness within the African community to where we don't know where to go. So it's hard to really use our discernment to find out what's real and what's not. There's been some youths that I've had issues with where I'm like, I'm not going to help you if you're just looking at me as a punching bag. I'm not going to help you if you're going to look at me as a person that's going to feed into a problem that shouldn't exist to begin with. So unfortunately, you're going to have to learn the hard way, and I guarantee you're going to come back knocking on my door and saying, Reggie, look, I don't want no more problems. I just want help. That's fine with me. I'm not here to have it to where I'm playing God or anything. I feel like we really, as an African people, need to unify on all accounts. And when it comes in regards to us having specific days or months for us to focus on something, that's wrong to me. Every day should be mental health awareness, not just for our kings, but for our queens as well. Not just for our kings and our queens, but also for our youths, no matter how young they are. also for our elders. We need to really show love and respect to each other because that's what we deserve. If we allow divisiveness to get the best of us, we are going to end up being divided and easily conquered. And I refuse to allow that to happen. But I will not allow myself to be anyone's punching bag along the way of trying to help them. So I feel like when it comes in regards to mental health, there's a lot of things that we can tackle on, but we have to do it in a respectful way. And I'm not going to pretend like I'm perfect. I'm going to also seek help while I'm trying to help others.
All right, so moving forward, you're in Malawi. You seem quite settled. You're in Chilega. You're having a ball.
I ain't say all that. I'm not having, you know.
I mean, you seem to be having fun. You seem to be having fun.
I'm enjoying life.
Doing.
I'm enjoying life.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what do you see yourself doing moving forward? Living in Malawi right now, what are your plans?
My plan is to stay in Malawi until the day that I'm no longer here. Malawi, so many people were like, before I even came to Malawi, they was like, Reggie, that's your new home. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, that's going to be your new home because everybody is so loving and respectful, and I don't see any divisiveness. You know, I even said it in the freestyle. I see Malawi always happy. When evil comes their way, they stick together and won't hesitate to say nothing will ever bring us down. So all evil just stay away. That's what I need in my life, and that's what I'm going to continue to, embark on while I'm living here. Like I was telling King Elliot before the show, for those people that come to me and they're like, Reggie, how do we go to Africa? If you're going to come here, leave the West and the toxins and the negativity behind you. Come here with a welcoming presence, because that's what you're going to receive, guaranteed. So with Malawi, I plan on being here as long as I'm allowed to, and just making the best out of everything. Like I said, I'm boring, so I usually a typical day for me.
You seem bored? You seem boring and busy at the same time?
Oh, that's what it is.
At the same time,
oh, that's
Reggie?
what I'm doing?
No.
But no, because you got to remember, too, when you guys see the movies and stuff like that, we do that stuff in a day. But on my other days, I be, chilling if I'm not working with TMM, and I'm ending up just going out on nature walks and just embracing nature, looking at the scenery, and just embracing, the youths and the different ceremonies that go on around Chilega. Like, it's so loving. The things, I love talking to my elders. Like, that's all. Ever since I was a child, I love just sitting back, listening to my elders have a great time. I do that a lot. So I'm more of a person to where I'm just sitting back and embracing the culture of Africa around me, rather than trying to come in and just say, hey, I'm Reggie. Hey, I do that. Look, the busyness and my entertainment, look, that's in the backseat. My main thing is I'm enjoying life because I'm surrounded by great people who are doing the same.
All right. The ceremonies, have you ever been at one of the ceremonies that have it?
Yes.
The traditional dances, the Gwewankulu?
Yes.
Around the Chilega area?
Yes. Not just in Chilega, but also not too far away from Limby. I remember I was doing a film project and somebody had passed away. And I loved how everyone in the community came together the very next morning after this passing, and everybody was, they gave their moment of silence. They did their ceremonies, and it was just a beautiful thing to see. And I was like, wow, that's similar to how it is in America and New Orleans, to where death isn't a loss, it's a celebration, which is why I was talking about King Chilima. When I heard about his death, I knew that his spirit still lives on through each and every one of us, because that man obviously left a legacy, and it's up to us to make sure that legacy stands and it keeps on progressing from there. But we celebrate his life. We don't, mourn it, because when you're mourning something, in my honest opinion, that means that you're depressed, you're sad, and you look at it as a loss. I know that man is still here. I know that our ancestors and the people that we all have lost are still here with us. We just can't see them physically. Us as human beings, we're used to seeing things physically touching things and, doing things like that and hearing them. That might not be here anymore, but spiritually, they're still here, and that's what I embark on when I'm seeing these, ceremonies and things like that.
No, great. So beyond the Uncle Reggie TV show and the Legacy series,
yes, sir.
Are you planning on something like maybe a 2-hour movie?
Yeah.
Like a new project, maybe that'll be out next year?
Yeah. So if anybody's interested, the House of Reggie's TV show, at the end of every season, we do a film. So there's a film called The House of Reggie's, or the acronym Thor, THOR, versus the New World. And it's tied into the franchise, and it also leads to where you have the brothers who come together. They're in Africa, but they have created this realm to where everything is, just free, lively. Nobody has to worry about bills or nothing like that. But the government wants to shut it down. And there's an evil entity that's been following the brothers for so long, played by me, because I play an evil character as well. And My mom loves that character. I have to be careful with that one because he's very dark. But he wants to shut it down because he's like, no, African people, we don't deserve this. We need to shut it all down. We need to abolish all of this. And the characters that I play, the brothers, the good guys, come in and say, no, we're going to show you better than we can tell you that we deserve this world, and we're not going to let you stop it. So that is an idea. Also, Legacy, the series, has the same formula as the House of Reggie's TV show. At the end of Legacy, the series, there's going to be a movie called Legacy versus Deathland, which we're trying to cast out, a female lead villain to play this role and make sure that.
That's my
Lucy, you auditioning already, Quinn?
Is that enough of an
It was
evil
close.
laugh?
We could auto tune it. We could fix it. We could fix it. Yeah, Lucy. Yeah. So if Lucy's interested, we got it. But this is going to be a movie to where I feel like it could be a feature film. Between the feature film is an hour, 15 minutes plus. So yeah, that can be it as well. But I know with that, a lot of people, they say, Reggie, the funding. I'm like, look, man, I'm not rich by any means, but for people that want to come out and help us, know that we're going to do our best to make sure that royalties come involved after the project is done. So I never want anyone thinking that they're coming on and it's going to be a big payday. That's not me. If it was, it would be a different story. But I know that if you're coming to work with myself, Alex, or whoever else is part of the project, you got to do it for the love and the passion, not because you're looking for a big payday. That's my main goal. And that's why I'm still here, because there's been people, Reggie, I want to work with you. I don't have any money. I'm not in it for that. If you have a good logic behind what you're doing, I'm all for it. So that's what we're recruiting. Those are the types of people we're recruiting for our feature films and the series that lead into that.
All right. Heard.
Am I talking too fast?
No.
All right. Okay. All right.
Right pace.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Just take us through the acting classes that you say you do conduct.
Yes. So
how often do you do that and where?
So I do online classes. It's not just the acting, it's also media. So people will come to me and be like, Reggie, I want to do an acting class, but I don't have a lot. We start off at 5,000 Malawi Kwacha for a day course. Our week course is 6,250, and then our 4-week is 25,000. 8-week is 50,000, and for the 4 and the 8 week, our goal is to make sure you get a certificate, and we try to hook you up with any type of work to lead you to build your resume. But with these classes, if a person comes to me and say, Reggie, I want to learn about video editing, I will basically be with them on WhatsApp throughout the day, and I will answer any questions that they have on top of me already giving information that comes with the class. We talk about monetizing in social media, how to make money using free apps, and also how to copyright your stuff. One of the biggest issues with a lot of our people in the community, African community, we're so quick to give outside of our community. We don't copyright our stuff. We don't put a stamp on it saying that we're the originators. We just give. I've met so many people to where they've given their scripts, to people in the West, and then this person makes millions and they're left with nothing. So I teach people how to copyright without having to spend a lot of money doing so. I teach different things in media, but also how to be safe while being in media, because for those people that don't know, the industry is a very dark game if we allow it to be. But if we can clean it up completely and make sure that there's light in it, we'll be just fine. So I not only teach acting, but I teach different ways to stay safe in media and how to do different things while filming on a budget. So that way you don't have to think, man, I need a lot of money to do something, exciting. No, you don't. There's different ways around that. So that's what I teach in these classes. Yes, ma'am. And we have the Facebook page, RHTV Film Classes.
RHTV Film Classes.
Yes,
on Facebook.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So before we wrap up our chat, I think we've pretty much exhausted a lot of it.
We really have.
A lot of curiosity has been
really
satisfied.
I appreciate it.
Just take us through again. You said that you're going to be launching the series.
Yeah.
Just take us through that again.
Yeah. So the Legacy, the series, we're going to try to release it online on Auntie Jean's Garvey Village. She's on Facebook, Auntie Jean. And then also we're going to try to release it on July the 6th or July the 13th.
On Independence Day in Malawi.
We didn't.
July.
That's July 6th?
Yeah,
Independence Day. Can't do it then. So July the 13th, we're going to try to release it in the Kamedza area or the Chileka area. And while doing that, we're going to be doing a screening to where we want people to come out. And if they have any questions, we're going to do a panel, a Q&A panel after the show. And, hopefully this is something that leads us to do more things. Like, we're basically letting the village speak so that way people can see what we're doing and see if they want to continue to support us. So July the 13th.
But even the 6th one is all right. Because
maybe the 6th too. But we're trying to figure out a location so we can do this screening. And then once we have all that, we'll definitely be shooting that information out to you guys.
All right. Definitely looking forward to that one.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, so moving forward, what would you like to who would you like to work? Who do you see yourself working with? Is there any person that you've actually looked at their work and said, I want to work with this person on the film industry?
Anybody who's interested in working with me. I'm not picky. I don't do the whole, oh man, I want to work with this person just because. No, it's like, look, if a person comes up to me or if I cross paths with them, I'll contact. Some people who I've contacted are egotistical though. Like, oh, you want to work with me? This is my opportunity to take advantage of you. And I'm like, look, never mind. Just shut that door. I don't want to work with you anymore. I'm quick at that one. But anybody who doesn't have an ego,
so
who's
you
respectful.
Came across such people here?
Absolutely.
In the 1 year and a month
that's everywhere though, King Elliot. That's everywhere. You know, like I said, the industry is a dark place if you allow it to. You thinking that you're better than someone else based off of what you've done in the past. Reggie's done a lot of work, but I would never ever make somebody feel low or make it seem like I'm too good enough to work with anybody. So I'm willing to work with any and everybody who has a great feel for what we're doing and also has a great logic behind what we're doing. So I'm interested to work with any and everybody, and they have to be prepared too. I know Lucy was talking about, man, Reggie's on time. Punctuality is a big thing with me. If you're not punctual, don't waste my time because that is disrespectful when you're not punctual. Another thing is to be prepared and make sure that that you're very patient because it might not be a big set that you possibly thought it would be or also what you're used to. So those are the requirements for working with me. But at the same time, I try my best to be respectful at all times. And I'm willing to work with any and everybody.
All right.
All right. Really big thank you for coming through, Reggie. It's definitely nice to see.
I've just discovered you use 3 P's, yeah? He uses 3 P's. Punctuality, patience, and...
What was the other P?
What was the other P?
Yeah, punctuality, patience, and preparation.
Preparation. Be prepared. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Triple P.
Thank you, King Elliot. King Elliot caught on it. I didn't even know that. See, that's good.
3 principles.
Thank you so
much. Yeah.
All right, so looking forward to seeing you again when you're actually about to have the screening of the series.
Yes, Queen.
Make sure you can come through.
Yes,
we
man.
can talk about it.
And before we go, can I say one last thing? I wanted to give a special shout out to King Philo and to Chetsa Media people. He wanted me to say, Reggie, there's big things coming. You better mention it on the radio. I said, yes, sir. Please don't whip me because he's an elder, so I don't want to get spanked. So we're definitely to Chetsa Media. Yeah, but I just want you guys to be on the lookout for what we're doing to Chetsa Media Matters, TMM, the Facebook, and also we have the YouTube. So big things are coming on there. My YouTube is RHTV, the RHTV Network, and also my Instagram for those people that want to contact me at the real Reggie Haynes. And yeah, man, I look forward to interacting with everyone, and I'm very honored and grateful for this opportunity to be on you guys' phenomenal platform. Elliot, Queen Lucy, thank you. King Elliot and Queen Lucy, thank you guys so much.
I really appreciate you
we're
coming
humbled
through as well. Elliot's going to be here with the sport in about 6 minutes, so all you have to do is keep it capital, and we'll continue all the way until midday.
Rise and shine with Capital Morning Drive. With music that makes you feel good. Capital Morning Drive.